starting turn 5 here. And I made a quick check, make sure I got the turn 5 cards, and I don't want to make that error twice in one play. The first card is a US money card. That's cool because I get to fire off some spies. Unfortunately, I have to use the money to get rid of an unrest because I was at 3 unrest in the home country, and that's not good. Okay. I'm not sure. I think actually by the rules I'm supposed to have 2 and 1 here. I don't see why that makes a difference. In fact, I know by the rules I've done something screwy. Let us look to see where we want to hit things. So we definitely want to do France and try to get rid of the 2 secrets there. Yeah, we got one of them. That's, or not secrets, tuck thefts. Thinking of a different game here. Now, elsewhere, we have one in Japan that's able to be hit. So we'll take a shot at that as well. That one we don't get as lucky with. Authoritarian unrest. Nope. Soviet money. All right. So the Soviets feel like they're in pretty good shape, except for this damn reforms issue, where we're probably generating a whole lot of unrest. Yeah, we are. And those have generated coups, and we're seeing the Soviet system already falling apart here. However, we occupy it, so even if the state is not really under our control the way it used to be, I guess the Red Army's still there. Although occupation kind of doesn't make a difference. Like, the fact that the U.S. occupies it, they could convert this to a democracy using... Maybe not. Maybe not. Let's see how this works. If you place an influence... Yeah, they'd have to get it to fully aligned, but then somehow the occupying forces would help defend that. It's a weird situation. But maybe they're converting the army that's there at the same time, even though it isn't really aligned. What are the Russians most interested in? I think we're going to do one of them investment actions. And let's see where we put things. First of all, we want to get back in play in Turkey. And, we got to get these. Those have to be democratic and aligned for it to be an issue. For it to cost more reforms or whatever, and other problems, unrest or something like that, I don't know. Progress, I'm not sure. Okay, and now we look for our spies, because... And we don't have many. We do not have very many. How about quelling unrest? Because I see a potential problem there. Suppress unrest. It's got to be a communist country. This is not communist. No good there. I'll go for tech theft in Japan. 2 dice, but neither one succeeded, so screw it. It's a failure. Yeah, no. I'm worried about the... okay. There's a balance issue. You know, if there had been a success, it wouldn't count at all. So I don't think that's reasonable. I don't need to do the tech theft against the Chinese. This one's not in any danger and I'm out of spies. Indo-Pakistan comes up again to see what's happening. 6. Remove all investment in Pakistan and add an unrest. India 1. Okay. All investment. That's this. And add an unrest. Pakistan is authoritarian, so that's a coup. And there's nothing the U.S. can do about a coup there. We get a 5 or more. Remove opposing influence. If not present, place a friendly. If the highest star, it was not. So there goes the U.S. cube. There were no victory points there. Replace the current government with the coup winner's government unless it's an occupied country. It is an occupied country. Somehow or another, the U.S. is occupying, or somebody was occupying Pakistan. That may have been the Pakistan card that did that. And set it to 1 unrest. Getting rid of this. Okay. And that still cycles. Navy arms race. Does the U.S. have the naval advantage yet? Yes, we do. So we get to put an investment down in a 0 or 1 country. Yeah, we don't want this. Now we make a roll to see what we get. We get 2 tech cubes. 1 on Navy. That causes this. +1 naval balance. Intelligence assessment. And a tech theft marker. And then the other one can go anywhere we like. What are we unhappy about? What is this? Okay, that's for Soviet purchases, I guess. We don't necessarily want to do the MIRVs, do we? We're going to get a tech theft for them anyway. Yeah, but the supercomputers is even uglier. What happens if we do the MIRVs? Not much. And jeez. Oh boy. Let's go for space flight. This is so iffy. We're in worse problems than that. Yeah, let's put it into the improved tech. And now the Soviets get to roll a tech theft, which we have to find. Goes in the U.S. This Navy arms race. We're going to fire off our spy to try to remove that tech theft. Got rid of it. And we have another spy we want to fire off. Yeah, let's fire the UK spy. No, let's use the German spy, I think. And that does not work. To try to get rid of the tech there. Khrushchev thaw. We roll a die. It's no longer turn 4, so this can never be removed. It will always be there now. First Civil War. Both sides add a civil war to any civil war. Is it must or may? May. Okay. Soviets first. Well, the world's calm. I see no civil wars in play. How wonderful. Soviet worker shortage. No problem. This actually removes the card. Seems a little weird. There was one for turn 4. If these are a regularly recurring thing, you'd think it would be in a recurring card. But I'm going to have to start another deck, actually. So let's move that down there. Okay, another card. Soviet monies. We're paid up. This is regular money, so we can't buy a trade good, which we'd kind of like to do. Oh, our conventional is good. The naval balance not so hot. What could we do? What is our... we're in industry here. Trying to remember where we get 2 tokens from. I think that's the research. No, it's from the tech thefts that we're talking. Yeah. Okay. So what do we do? I don't know. I mean, we got a lot of interesting places. I guess we do the investments because they're fun. And we'll drop 1 in Turkey, 1 in Cuba. And where's the third one going? I don't remember. I don't remember where it goes. We will get rid of this unrest. Because that's a cheap place. Spies. Tech theft doesn't look worth it, and that's the only one we have. South African border war. If Angola is in civil war, nope. And there's no otherwise, so this just goes away. NASA. Okay, this gives me $2 for space and satellite research. Again, is this... see. It's not well defined, right? Does this count as technological research, or is it something else? And this is what really fucking bugs me here, is the cards don't say. I've been doing it so that they get additional cubes from the supercomputers. It makes sense, but so does the opposite. All right, and we're going to keep working on the thing that we're working on, where we need a 1. 1, 2, 3, 4 cubes down the drain. After use on turn 7, it's not turn 7. Yeah, the time and growth. What? +1. I think this is just apply +1 to remove a trade marker for the rest of the game. Does not apply to destruction markers. Keep handy as a... Okay. So the cost of improving through investment, improving the factories through investment, has just gone down. The penalty against them. India nuclear weapon. It is turn 5. We need a 6. Hey, we got it. India builds the bomb. When triggered, place the Indian nuclear weapons marker in India. No effect on strategic balance. It's close to the South African flag, so I have to check. Add 1 unrest in Pakistan, which forces another coup in Pakistan, and this is removed because India has just gotten their nukes. Now, what does this do? Well, it makes India harder to attack, is basically it. But we got a coup in Pakistan. The U.S. is the defender still, even though they have nothing there. because they're the default defense. With a 4 strongman, remove opposing influence. If not present, place a friendly influence. So Pakistan becomes communist aligned. Place the current government with authoritarian unless it's occupied. Well, it's already authoritarian and it's occupied. Set the country to 1 unrest, reducing the unrest there. And that's a blue card. I still got spies. I'm going to try to knock out that French tack. I don't think that works. He's got to be 5 or more. Yeah. Okay, it does. And we're going to pause there because I don't know. I don't know. Mainly because I need to light my pipe, so we'll go back. Now, I've got a lot of... the U.S. has interesting things here. They have a reroll, which I forgot to use. They have a reroll from the containment, and I also have an intervention, which I don't know if I want to use. That's painful. Soviet money instead, though. All right. Comrade, what do we want to do? Well, we want to get influence in Turkey again. I think we're going to be doing 2 influence markers, or are we going to do something else? Yeah, we're going to do 2 influence. 2 influence? 2 influence. I don't know what they're going to be. Is Turkey more important than these others? I don't know. Let's go for it. 1 die, +1 for an investment. In my own color puts it to +2. We get a cube in Turkey. That changes all kinds of things. We get a progression. We get a naval level, if I can find the Navy, which gets rid of the intelligence assessment, but the counter's already been gained. You gain the counters when you get them, and you gain them at the end of the turn. We can make them re-roll that, but I don't know. And then we're going to spend the next one on Belarus, I guess, which is again at +2. That's a 5. That's not going to work. U.S. money. Okay. Like I said, we've got some interesting money choices for the U.S. But we're going to do 3 investments. 1, 2, 3. Just pluck them off the board. No spies. And I think we're going to stop for a while. Okay, the next card is Soviet grain. Spies aren't going to help one way or the other with that. The turn is turn 5, which is important here. That creates a +1. We have something new. Let's see what happens. Get a 4. Average harvest, no effect. Okay. Spies. Just make sure that there's not one I want to use. I only have 2 available. I mean, the thing is, with a spy there, the U.S. isn't going to place a tech there, but so I might as well go for a place on Rust. We go. And this is kind of a bonus because, again, there's a U.S. investment there, so that helps a little bit. It means that they will be the defending player. I gotta light my pipe again. Still got their nukes. This card is removed. I'm gonna put it over here because I gotta bury it deeper in the deck just to prepare for whatever next time I play. And then I drew a popular on Rust. All this does is place nukes protecting those countries from Soviet action. 4, both sides must place an unrest in any authoritarian country, and then both sides must place one in any occupied country. Okay, and the Soviets have to go first. Authoritarian that we want to put an unrest in. Well, this is a coup, which is potentially appealing. Are there any other places I mean, I could coup this as well, which looks even more valuable. So we'll go there. No, that's not authoritarian anymore. That's why we don't do that. Okay, we'll put it in Saudi Arabia. I'll drop a die in there just to remind me we got to roll. The U.S. goes next with an authoritarian. We'll go here. That puts a die there. Seeing unrest in the Middle East. Russians have to place one in an occupied country. This is not pleasant because the U.S. is no longer occupying anything, which means, well, it's not that bad. Put one here. That could change things in my favor now. And the U.S. has to place one in an occupied country. There aren't a whole lot of occupied countries. Yeah, there are. Down here. Yeah, we got a lot of choices. I don't know if we want to keep blasting away at the Soviet-occupied territories. Those aren't going to coup. So, but neither would these. Pakistan, we could coup. All right, let's do that. Okay. And now we start our way down the coups. First, what is this? Iraq. Okay. A 3. Country slides into armed conflict. If the country is occupied or is worth 2 or has a worth of 2 or more, no effect. Otherwise, place a civil war and cover the rightmost revealed factory with a destruction marker. What it doesn't tell you to do is to remove the unrests. They can't be there if there's a civil war. Can the Russians immediately intervene? Again, not sure, but it might say here. Must be communist and aligned, not communist. Okay. Next one, Saudi Arabia. Look for the coup table. It's 2 dice. That's what I thought, but it's hard to remember. This is a successful coup. Remove opposing influence and opposing influence. Or if not present, place a friendly influence. It was a Soviet. If the highest die roll was 6, do that again. Fully aligned now. Replace the current government with the coup winner's government unless it's occupied. This drops a disc there. That's going to be a progression. Set the country to 1 unrest only. And that was pretty damn successful. Okay, we got one more coup. Just one more? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Over here. Another successful. Remove an opposing influence. Put your own influence. This is going to be big. Place the government with the coup winners unless it's occupied. It is occupied, so it doesn't switch. And then set the government to 1 unrest. Gets rid of this. And now Pakistan's occupied again, but by who? I don't know. I don't remember what triggered that. And on top of that, it like keeps changing hands as an occupied nation. Whose army is in there? I don't remember. I think it's Pakistan's, actually. I think like it's indicating a military government, you know, that's heavier than most authoritarian governments are. All right, well, that was an exciting card, actually. Soviet diplomacy. The Soviet player can place one investment, one spy, and make one influence. Oh, influence roll. I've been just dropping an influence in. Fuck. Well, that makes more sense. We'll just say I've been succeeding. You know, it's hard to read sometimes. Spy. In authoritarian countries, different ones for each. I'll come back with the answer as to what that is. So here's what happened. We dropped a spy into the Civil War. That gives us a bonus, and it's the only civil war going on. So that's fine. I couldn't find a better place to put a spy. I mean, I guess I could have thrown one in China, but no, that's not authoritarian. Well, yeah, China is authoritarian. You know what? Chicken butt. Let's do that. I like that idea better. Because I'm going to try to get a military into the Civil War. You're allowed to do that with build a military unit or place an army in the Civil War. The next is... what else? I dropped... What did I drop where? I'm having trouble remembering. I succeeded in the influence chance on Iran. This time I actually rolled. And where did the investment go? I think the investment removed a unrest in Saudi Arabia. And, you know, there aren't a lot of authoritarian places with more than one value at this point. So that all works out okay. I get to fire off my spy, which I will do, to try to steal that Chinese tech secret. There is unrest in the target country. That allows me to steal it. Well, that's cool. How often does that happen? That gets me a cube. Just one. No computers for this. Which I can put anywhere that's a catch-up type place. Or no, it gets me 2 cubes. But only one if I go into industry or farming. So with 2 cubes, there are no bombers, so it's a little less valuable than it could be. I'd still get a chance to remove one of the bombers that the US has in their pile, but why don't instead we improve the naval balance and get that back to even with my 2 cubes. Whew, okay. I need to break. Russians got some money, and I think we're going to into an allowed civil war. Must have own influence and not enemy army. I think we're going... See, again, there's a chance that an enemy army could be somewhere where you have influence. So there has to be some way that militaries can end up in the wrong place. Anyway, we're using this money to grab an army. If we get a trade money, we're gonna buy trade. I mean, there's got to be a couple in here. There's the oil and whatnot. 6-Day War. +1 for each country with the same cube color as Israel out of Egypt, Syria, and Iraq. Israel, Egypt, Syria, Iraq, no. Roll 2 dice and count the number of 3+ results. Okay, wait. 6 or more, peace, Israel stands down. Okay, that doesn't happen. Otherwise, 2 dice and the number of 3s. Okay, that's 2. Place the crushing victory marker in Israel. Place an unrest in Egypt and one in Syria. I'm going to hunt this down. Okay, we got a victory and a crushing victory. One in rest in Egypt and one in Syria. I don't know if that's terrible. The unrest in Egypt makes it kind of harder to try to go after the canal there. Still have to deal with that card I got up there. U.S. money. Okay, I gotta think a little bit here. I don't know how a civil war could end up with an army that doesn't belong there, sort of. If an influence marker is removed, or no, what is it? Let's see what it is. Place an army into an allowed civil war, must have own influence and no enemy army. And then the influence is removed, which can happen, and replaced with the enemy influence in the course of the civil war. Then the government, there might end up being a rebel army, essentially. So it's an unlikely situation, but not probably rare. I'm still trying to figure out what to do with that U.S. money. We've got a serious nuclear track problem. That's one option we could do. We've got a lot of unrest in the U.S. We could get forced to do something, but we don't really want to. I don't think we want to play with tech right now. We got too many problems in the world. We have an influence we want to do, but I'm looking for a place where I want to do that, and I'm having a hard time coming up with somewhere that I definitely want to trigger an influence right now. There's places I want to build up for the influence, a lot of them actually. So I think we go with the 3 little investments. And what do we put down? I feel like fighting over Turkey is still valuable. Maybe getting rid of this investment here in East Germany and getting rid of the Lithuanian unrest, because those are taking away things that maybe we can turn to our advantage in the Soviet bloc. More U.S. money. All right, it's time to do our influence, I think. Yeah. We could do better. Yeah, let's grab 3 more investments. I'm not sure this is the best way to do things because, again, the Russians have the advantage tactic in terms of ground troops, but put an investment here, an investment here, and a third one. Yeah, we'll work on Cuba. France NATO withdrawal. Uh-oh. 5. If France is not aligned with the U.S., it is not. Place NATO withdrawal in France. I remember this being threatened. I don't remember. Okay. France no longer takes part in any aggression by applying a DRM. Okay. That's really effective. Well, Italy's kind of a threat too. But if you look at aggressions, I think it's 2-point aligned countries. So France would normally give an advantage there. France will still defend itself. Remove the marker if France becomes fully U.S. aligned. I think we can remember this one. Israel PLO. Mossad responds quietly. Nothing to see here. African unrest. Is it turn 7 or more now? Which means that just cycles. Soviet money. All right. We don't want to do an aggression because there's trade goods out there. And this is sort of our first chance to get them in a while. We may also be restricted. Something plays around with our capability to do stuff. And I don't remember what it is. It may be that Soviets occupy country. That's prevented. Something is prevented by either various reforms or by leadership. Now, I think pretty obviously, remove all Soviet occupations is going to be impacted. So that's probably the progressive. But, so what do we want to do with Soviet money? So if that's the case, what are we trying to do? We're trying to get to trade that. We're not going to get there off that. We got our army there, for whatever that's worth. I think we'll do the 3 investments. 1, 2. Yeah, you know, we can't afford some of these. 1, 2, 3. We can't afford to have those convert over because they'll start steamrolling us in directions that we don't want to go. U.S. oil thirst. U.S. must be able to count oil worth on the map as shown on the turn track. So that's what it is. So I need to have 1 oil worth. Okay? The oil must not be controlled by the Soviets, aligned or fully aligned. For each oil that cannot be counted, either remove 1 from the U.S. debt track or add 2 unrest to the U.S. Then if the oil price is 2 or 3, add another. Okay, so here's the question. Is this a no matter what if the oil price is 2 or 3, added unrest to the U.S.? Or is it part of this conditional? There is no definition that specifies this. I've seen somewhere it's pretty clear that the conditional applies to both, and here it's fuzzy. And there's no real defined status for the cards that I saw there. Like there should be something like regardless of the conditional or whatever. In fact, it would make the most sense to make this first if we wanted to do this no matter what. We would say, if the oil price is 2 or 3, add 1 unrest in the USA. Then, if the US is able. That works. But by putting it after the conditional but in separate paragraphs, I'm left in this fuzzy place. Now, there is some discussion of cards. Some cards will have caveats included in them. A few cards will have multiple statements. Well, is this multiple statements or not? I don't know. None of this is really very clear. There is no clearly, like I said, there's no clearly expressed way to read these cards. And when you hit something like this, I don't know. This time, it's not the case. The oil price is at 1. But, oh, and will I be able to count 1 oil? Yeah. Canada. I mean, there's tons of it around. All right, our Red Army card. Do we still have the prevents worker shortage? Yes, we do. So we're definitely not going to want to reduce, but this actually has no effect. Checking spies. The deck's not that low. I should get more red cards. More U.S. money. I will do an influence, I guess, in Cuba. But what is my extra thing gonna be? It could be a spy, it could be an investment, like a bigger one. All right, let's influence Cuba. +1 for my own investment. +1, no. No fully aligned there. So I just need a 6. I do not get it. I'm going to burn my special influence reroll for containment to try again. I get it. That allows me to put a cube in Cuba for whatever that's worth again. This is now no longer a 1. Okay. And we were going to do something else, right? We did the influence. We did the influence roll. We were going to do an investment. I didn't mention that, but I was going to pull something out of the U.S. because I don't see anything else I terribly want to do. Most of the investments I want to do are cheaper. Pueblo incident. I don't know about this. The ship gets sunk or something. 4. USSR Intel assessment +1 box for this turn. Use the Pueblo marker. Okay, so this is fucked up, isn't it? So I guess this goes up by 1. That will immediately create a bonus for the Ruskies on the reroll. So now both sides have one. But my guess here is, oh, it's seizing a intelligence vessel. My guess here is that this thing will drop back down at the end of the turn. When is the end of the turn? That's a good question. Is it right after the turn marker moves in the end of turn thing, in which case I will not generate another intelligence? Or is it at the end of turn sequence, which, you know, is after that marker has moved, in which case I would get another one. I don't know. I think, you know, since it's called an end of turn sequence, let's just say it is happening, you know, at the end of turn sequence, that this goes away. But here's the problem. There's no reason why this marker couldn't have been moved as the last thing, except that they want you to trigger stuff as that new turn. And yeah, I don't know. And this doesn't even say, this says for this turn instead of remove at end of turn or something like that. That's just a wording choice, but it's one that adds to some ambiguity. They could tell me some step in the end of turn sequence when it's removed. That's a red, still spying. Military export, this is what we wanted. Okay, it's time for us to grab something. We could get either oil trade or tech trade. Oil trade is useless to us. We've got full oil production. So we'll grab the tech trade marker. And what does that do? Because this is the first time we've gotten to trade. Apply 2 successes towards technology advancement of any type, but only successes for farming or but only 1 success for farming or industry. And I think this goes away. Because we're just going to use it. Okay. Not farming, not industry. We want to improve industry, but, we'll use money for that or something. Well, I don't know. We could blow up potential bombers or potential SSNs. Neither of them sounds too good. So I'm going to take one here to slide into here. And that'll give me MIRVs and mobile missiles to build. And there are no extras of any of those. So I don't add them to the force pool. Which, who knows? Who knows what that means? The other one. Can't put it into industry, can't put it into farming. Where else do I want to drop it? See, this is one I can add to no matter what. So I'll put it up here. Just for shits and giggles. And this card cycles. Lack of consumer goods. Just gets cycled. Oil production. This is another trade card, but I don't need the oil tech. I've got as much of that as I want. So now I've just got a money to play with. And I don't know what to do. I could invade now, because I've eaten up the trade. Outside of this, I'm just looking at bunkers because I had this question about it. I feared this was the case. When you cancel an enemy unit is when when a new unit is built, it may immediately cancel an enemy eligible unit. Okay. Bunker can cancel anything. That's great. But the bunkers are already in existence. I think maybe not. Maybe you have to pay a research to add it to the... Maybe I'm reading it wrong. I thought these bunkers are in existence and can cancel anything out. I think instead, maybe this is what's said here. 1 research cube to add to force pool. Then you put it in the force pool, and then you can buy a bunker and cancel any one weapon once in the game. And then the bunker's gone. I thought it was different from that, because a bunker does not count. Its only point in building is to cancel an enemy weapon. To place it into the force pool also costs 1 research. I thought it was already deployed because it's up there on the board and not somewhere else. But no, this is just telling me that I have the opportunity to build a bunker. I think that's the only way you can read this that makes sense. But again, the rules are kind of loose, and it has taken me some thought to come to that conclusion. Thought that wasn't there originally. Anyway, I'm still on this fucking oil production card, and I don't know what the Russians want to do with it. I'm going to do a minor aggression against the Ukraine. It's minor because it's a cheap place, right? Somewhere. Minor aggression 01, which is not occupied. Oh, no, it's occupied. Fuck. So there's Russian armies there, I think. I'm not allowed to do anything about the government there. The government change. I could have done something by deploying a military during the coup, but that wouldn't do anything. That would just occupy it. Yeah. I don't... fuck. Wait. No, I could do a major aggression against any country. Yeah. Okay. And are we allowed a major aggression? We are. Okay. Let's do that. And that gives us 3 tech embargoes this time. And now I gotta find the rules again. Or whatever. Let's find it. The U.S. can remove a trade item spy action at no cost. I mean, might as well, in case the oil tech goes away or something. 2 fours, 2 dice must roll a 4 or higher on both. Okay. Target country must be adjacent to an aligned country with your own color government. Yeah. I guess Hungary counts. Russia does not. It's got no cubes or anything in it, right? I don't know. Maybe it says your nation is aligned somewhere, but I don't recall that. Okay. The U.S. gets to try MAD at 6. Maybe. I'm not sure. The target country is occupied or has the enemy color. It is neither. It is occupied. Okay. It's occupied by Russian allied troops, I think, but they might object or something. Okay. So there's nothing. And now we roll 2 dice, plus 1 aggression. There's no country next to it that's worth enough. Oh wait, maybe Russia. A country worth 2 or more with the enemy government type. Yeah, Russia is. So that's plus 2 now. Adjacent by sea, no. No. I only get a 5, which is just a success. I was hoping Blitzkrieg, I could sweep up into Livonia too. Place an occupied marker in the target country if not already present, and a destruction marker covering the rightmost revealed factory symbol. Yeah. Not optimal, but I got to get him out of there. That's too big a threat. Switch the government to that of the aggressor and place an influence cube there. That just gets rid of the U.S. influence cube. So I didn't really do that much good out of this. But it seemed like the thing I wanted to do. I don't know. All right. I've spent enough time. Yeah. A couple of errors on my hand, one of which doesn't affect play. The tech theft placement. This is here. I had seen it. I don't know why I just didn't remember it being there, but yeah, this is a lot more helpful than paging through the rules every time. It just didn't click in my mind that was there when I'm worried about it. The other one is the difficulty of these tech rolls, and this was pointed out, and this is a heavy game impacting effect. This is just me failing to remember what I read. Several technologies have a die roll. So when one of these techs would be fully researched, roll 1 die. If the die roll is in the indicated range, you lose 1 in accumulated research. I've been misplaying it completely, where I've been having to make the roll to get to that level. There's not much I can do about that except kind of say, well, I mean, the U.S. spent a lot of tech on those. But on the other hand, that prevented them from putting tech theft markers into play at too high a rate, which would have been problematic as well. Yeah, I just did not remember that correctly. And so, I don't know if it's the way that it's worded. I don't feel like I particularly, it's a little... if the die roll is in the indicator, you lose 1. Yeah, I mean, there's sort of a double negative type thing, but I'm used to roll something to get a success. I think that's just sort of where my brain is in general. Anyway, I wanted to rush down because I got notes from the designer on those particular issues, and it's important to understand what I'm fucking up, in order to judge, if you're saying, wow, that's really hard, why would you ever do that? No, it's actually pretty easy and you got a pretty good chance. And my reasoning for going into them has been maybe a little questionable because of that. Take some time to acclimate. This isn't a money card, so whatever, I just roll. +1 from turn 5 and on. Civil rights and freedom. What's it going to do? Oh, this might not be good. 1 unrest in any 2 democracies by the Soviets. U.S. places nothing. Well, obviously throwing things in the U.S. is useful. That can tie their hands. But maybe we can do something better than that. So we scheme through, and we got a democracy here we want to drop one in. And it's hard to tell, with the other one what you want to do, right? There's no place that really begs for it. Again, the U.S. is not trivial to remove unrest from, but it may not be as powerful as putting it somewhere else. Like, say, here in Germany, which is a very valuable location. U.S. spy. Before we do the spies, let's handle our coup. All right, over in Vietnam, democratic but very unhappy Vietnam. 2 dice, right? It's not occupied. We get the big 6. Remove an influence. Place. Do that again. Now it's communist. Well, now it's Soviet-influenced democracy. Replace the current government with the coup winner's government. Now it's communist. Okay, and that actually does a couple of things. It went from... it just went from a U.S. aligned democracy, so we lose one for the factory there, to a communist aligned or a Soviet aligned communist state, and then we set the unrest level to just 1. Not a good turn of events for the U.S. at all. And now we got the spy to think about, who doesn't have a whole hell of a lot he can do. I'm looking at the one over in the UK. Okay. Soviet money. What is Soviet money good for? Well, lots of things, and we got to think when we're faced with money, don't we? It looks to me like we're going to drop 3 interests, or 3 investments. Because there's just lots of places we can throw them. 1, to get rid of that Vietnamese unrest. Let's just solidify our position there. 1, to put us into there, and 1 into there. And we don't want to fix that the factory yet. Russian spy. I think there's one kicking around. I saw one over there. The deck's getting kind of small, but it's not too small. I'll flip a card. Chinese nuclear weapon. It's turn 5. It's a success. So now China has nukes, and that's not going to do anything else. That's a card that goes away. I think turn 4 is up here, so I can put that on top. Is that a red card? Nah, it doesn't matter. U.S. debt money. Okay. Where's the U.S. got problems? All over the fucking place. Little investments are impressive. still. Is that the most impressive thing I can do? I don't know. Little investments. Bunk, bunk, cause threats to the Russians. This is not a hammer and sickle, so we're not that impressed with doing that. Let's continue to protect Cuba as well. Kind of have given up on Turkey, haven't we? Yep. And still a decent amount of card. Sino-Soviet border war. Uh-oh. Remove one Soviet influence in China if present. Okay, that is a victory point. And I think this gets removed no matter what. It's only got a removal, it doesn't have anything else. So, but that is one of these. Because that just went from fully aligned to no longer fully aligned. And that's the special case with Chinese authoritarian unrest. It is turn 5, so we're not facing. Both sides must place one unrest in an authoritarian country. A coup result of 4 or more is reduced. Soviets first. Well, there are lots of authoritarian countries with some U.S. control. That's not authoritarian. Oh, put it in tile 1. Seems like an interesting place to put it. And for the U.S. side, we'll put it up here in Georgia. That did not result in any coups. I don't know if there was an option to do so. Afghanistan is occupied, so... Oh, well, more than occupied, it's communist now. Okay. China's Cultural Revolution. Until the end of turn 6, place the Cultural Revolution in China. That'll be -1 to any attempt to remove a trade marker from China, I guess? Or, well, it doesn't say from China. And why would there be a... Oh, any attempt to remove a trade marker. Okay. I'm going to need to leave that kicking around too. China's getting complicated. And good luck remembering. So that says until the end of turn 6, yeah. All right, we keep drawing. Lack of consumer goods. 5, add 1 Soviet homeland arrest or a reforms cube. Okay. That's a lot of unrest that's going to happen when this triggers, but it's another victory point. And we're kind of doing okay in terms of victory points. We're 2 ahead of the U.S. right now. I think we're going to keep going for reform. That looks not unpleasing to me. The deck's getting small. Oh, there's probably another red card still in here. What? What just happened? It's not that. Oh. Or permanently removed by spending $2. Well, I'm okay with this. I don't want to blow that much money. U.S. money. All right. U.S. money. We did our influence. We probably do not want to do a war. It's going to be the 3 investments again. Drop 1 in Lithuania. 1 in the Ukraine. We're really kind of threatening the Russians here. And much as I'd like to do that influence, not now. I don't really care about that Taiwanese unrest. They're not a democracy. They're not worth defending that much. So where do we invest other than those? Fight for Turkey. Die roll for my thingy out there. There's not a whole hell of a lot I can do with that SPY, is there? Let's just look through. I could try to remove a trade item, but that's now at -1, I guess, because of the Chinese Cultural Revolution. I could try to place unrest, but there's nowhere I really want to do that. Yeah, I think we don't want to fire our SPY off. I'm not really thrilled with the SPY in the UK anyway. Able to remove interests or something. Investments. Thought they were able to do something like that, but I don't see it. Must be the trade item. And the Second Civil War. Okay. This is the automatic one. We have a civil war here in Iraq. And that's it, I think. Put the black cube on there just to remind me it's done. And to reset and whatnot. Okay. What's going on in Iraq? +1 DRM per friendly investment. So, okay, so it's +2 with 3 dice for the Russians in Iraq. That gets 2 hits. And for the war itself, they return with 1 hit. Okay. 2 hits will clear the civil war. 1 hit will cause an unrest in Russia. Kind of sucks, but okay. And now, let me just turn this back. The government just won. Flip all influence to the opposite. Oh, sorry. Align the country, if not already, and set to 1 unrest. Okay, Iraq just got aligned as pro-Soviet. Wow, the Mideast is looking, and Near East for that matter, is looking really ugly. Align and set to 1 unrest. Place occupied if an army is present and remove the army. Okay, so I get an unrest and an occupied marker. Yeah. Here, the army goes home, and we just got nothing. I'm not sure about that nothing. I may have been misplaying this. And it's problematic if I am, because there's no real reason to fix destruction, right? So let me look. I seem to remember something that indicated values always being at least 1, even if they're 0, and I kind of had, oh, well, why is something 0? And I'm not sure. Okay, it is not here, but I thought it was somewhere else. I don't know where I would find that. I have something that vaguely tells me that a nation with no worth in terms of factories is still worth 1 on the progress chart. I'm going to take a little bit of a look for it because I need to light my pipe anyway. I don't have much hope of finding it though because I've scanned for it. I found where that information is, the thing that I'm remembering. It's in a note, not an actual rule. Country economic value has been derived from blah, blah, blah with values equal to this. Countries worth less still earn 1 worth for strategic importance. I think if the factory is gone, that indicates that it's so busted up that it's not worth it, even for the strategic importance. But that led me to believe that they should still be worth 1 in some sort of sense. That's where that thinking came from, is from that note. Because to some extent, you know, you're not looking at the economic value of a nation when you're talking about its strategic worth. Its strategic worth, you know, you're looking at things like some of these areas in Africa that have almost no valuation at certain points in the game. They have almost no productive capabilities, whatever. They actually don't have a whole hell of a lot of strategic worth either, some of them. But I because it's only in a note, going, and it would completely mess up, you know, any understanding. Why would you ever fix those destroyed factories? It doesn't serve any purpose. I am just writing it off. Destroyed 1-point factories and 0 worth countries exist, and they have to mean something. Still not worrying about my rerolls. Both sides have one. Spy agencies. 1 Soviet spy action with any spy, and I don't have to mark it as used. Well, there's nowhere where I can take anything. I am just going to burn one of these Russian unrests for that. Oh, or I could place an investment in a country with a Soviet spy. Yeah, I just burn the unrest. An investment's not worth as much. And the U.S. rolls a die to see if they get more spies. And they do. Well, they do, but they're out of spies. Now, I believe that they're allowed to move them. I'm not going to look this up. Is there somewhere where the U.S. wants to move a spy to a democratic country worth 2 or more? Because I think I have some spies in some kind of iffy places. For example, this spy here in Algeria or Morocco, I could move this up to Italy, where it serves more purpose. And now it's actually within range that I can screw around with Yugoslavia. So that seems worth it. Research. Okay, both players resolve 2 research actions because they both have computers. Again, that's going to result in 4 cubes each. And the Soviets go first. The Soviets have not gotten their industry yet, so we need to up that. Industry is going to only cost us 1, and we'll do that, but I'll continue with the rest of these 2. Complexity here again, where things aren't necessarily that clear. Investment. 3 free investments for reaching here in addition to getting the MERVs available. Well, is that 3 cubes or 6? Again, it depends on how you want to read this, right? Is this... It is not technology research, I think. It's hard to tell, you know? The terms aren't so clearly defined anywhere that allows you to do that. But anyway, we're going to have a whole bunch more. And the U.S. will probably catch up to them in that to make sure that they have MERVs available too if they choose to deploy them. Nobody's throwing any strategic nukes into place. There's no reason for the Soviets to. I've got a big advantage. Well, I've got an advantage. I'm not really that worried about the U.S. invading places as much. And because I have the conventional advantage, which means I get the better chances of invasions. Yes, the U.S. every so often gets a chance to invade things a little bit more. Something I didn't place was this +1 nuke for the comms satellites. I don't know what's up with that. That's already recorded here. So, and now it's not a first only or anything like that. So I don't know why this counter exists. I'm going to just get rid of it. I'm sure I'm probably doing something wrong there. I do not know. Likewise, I don't know why there's a +1 nuke marker for this. I just don't get that, you know. One side or the other can get it. So anyway, we got our MIRVs. We made our way all the way up to here. First satellite, that doesn't give us any bonus because it says first only. Whereas this does not. And this has a counter and what, you know, I don't understand. Okay, well, this is not that kind of thing. We pushed to this. That got us the extra pieces and another MIRV. We filled out industrial so that we can get to it close next time. Now, this gives us a free military build every turn. I don't know when. Presumably at the end of the turn. I'm not positive. I don't think it's in the end turn record. I don't recall running over that, but whatever. What else do we have here? We went up in the naval tech because we were tied there, so there's no real harm to that. That got rid of an SSBN or SLBN or whatever for the U.S. and gave us a further naval edge, which gave us an intel assessment, which moves it here. Because things are sequential, we got the reroll from that. I think if the U.S. moves to here, they don't get a reroll for that. They have to actually pass the Soviets. They have to gain one in advantage to the Soviets to get it. I think that's how it works. Again, there's only so much I'm willing to dig into the rolls again and again to try to figure crap out. I guess that one's worth it because the U.S. has to make their decisions. So that is, let's take a look at that end of, that's not the right end of turn cycle section. That's in the thing that would be in the book I wouldn't even look at if this were a well-written rule book. Got anything? Yeah, we've got to apply a tech cube for mainframe computer. We don't have anything about this industrial automation bonus and when that happens. So, whatever. That should probably have a reminder in there. But I was looking for something else. I just looked at that because that was one of the things on my pile of, hey, am I interested in that? What was the other thing I'm looking at? I don't fucking remember now. Oh yeah, intel assessment. Yeah, okay. Every time one side's an investment, it goes up a box if you can't move any further. The important thing is the differential. If one side's marker is higher, they may claim a reroll. For every box it's higher. Take one reroll for each box as soon as it's earned. I don't know quite how to read that, okay? I know what that means at the end of the turn. You compare their two and you do that. I know that that means the Russians gained one, and I think they get one for that because it is sequential who picks first. Although, that's actually, yeah, Soviets pick first. But now if the U.S. moves up to here, I don't think they get one the way that's worded, but I don't know for sure. You know, again, it's like, do they just get one for reducing the penalty? Or no? I don't know. It's made itself a lot of gains. We went up to the industrial so that we will be getting military markers. The thing I was talking about actually doesn't matter because what we did was we ended up reducing the naval balance, which definitely reduces the Soviet point, but they still gained their secret for the slight advantage they had. we got rid of their SSBN, or SLBN, and we take one off the board, off the strategic weapons marker for that. That's a big deal because that's 2 points on the strategic track, which gets rid of a Soviet victory point, which means going for reform is becoming more questionable now. And a whole bunch of tech have shown up, which gives us 2 rolls on the tech tables. Let's just, I guess we do them one at a time because people have re-rolls. I don't know how much that matters. One of them just goes away, and the Soviets aren't going to re-roll that. It's just not worth it. And the other one is Canada, UK, or Germany. Canada is relatively safe. Canada looks like my best choice. So we'll put that there. And actually, UK is better, because we can try to eliminate that more easily. Sounds good. Oil production card. Russian money. Oh, what's Russian money going into? I don't know. Oh, U.S. has gotten a lot of those investment problems on us. So let's clear 1, 2, 3 of them off the board and get rid of that card. Russians have spies if they want them. We're near the end. Get rid of this. Oh, I mean, the deck's almost gone, so both people should be looking. Okay. Blue House raid. Don't know what this is. North Korean attempt to assassinate the South Korean government. The whole government? Wow. Commandos are captured or killed before reaching the target. That's just the end of that. But it's a blue card, and that's important because I got some spies I want to use. First, in England. That's probably not going to work. Now, I do not want to... This is secure secret. We'd need a 5 or more. I don't want to use a re-roll up on that. It's a pretty minor function. The one in Italy is going to try to create unrest in Yugoslavia. We're able to do that, right? It's just 1 die. +1 if there was already unrest there, but there is not. Hey, we get 1. And the spy is used. It's funny, like investments disappear, get expended, essentially, when they're successful. Spies, though, they're trying to do their stuff. They might fail. Investments, well, they don't get wasted in the same way. And it makes sense. The last couple of cards. Sweden-Finland neutrality. What? 3. If Sweden or Finland has 2 influence, remove 1. Nope. Cycle. If it's turn 6 or more, remove. Well, okay. And a U.S. money card. This is my last card. I got no more spies available, right? Just making sure. Okay. What do I want to do with this? Well, as usual, we're going to do the little country investments because we think they're good. And we'll do the same ones back. And that's a regular US card. And now we're at the end of turn sequence. Let me get a pipe, another pipe, because this one has burned down and I got a little walk to get one. First few items, none of them too exciting, what we're getting through. No new trade, no new tech theft showed up. The 5-year plan's farming, which we haven't seen. Maybe we saw it once and that's why we got to here, but we got bumped back down. It's kind of cool because farming is sort of the lousiest of them in terms of the gains. So the fact that I haven't been getting that much is good. But for leadership change, well, die roll modifiers gave me +1, +2, and +3. I actually rolled a 9. A 9 is not covered on this chart. I'm assuming 6 or more gets me to the progressive, and that causes both of these. Let's check it to make sure, because I'm not sure what the Soviet occupations are. I'm guessing it's all occupations in Soviet-controlled countries, and I'm not sure if that means I can't do any more. So let's see what that says. This is for something else. The progressive does come into power. All occupations in Soviet-aligned or communist-governed countries are removed from the map, and they can no longer reoccupy countries. I'm assuming that's for the rest of the game. Okay, so Soviet-aligned or communist countries. That could be a lot. Occupation gone. Occupation gone. Occupation gone. Occupation gone. Hey, that one's both. Occupation gone from Turkey. Occupation gone. 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 Now, this could be an occupation that was started by the West. Not that they've been doing many. But just as a point, you know, it's not necessarily the Russian army withdrawing. And then I can see that argument of why that would happen. Okay, so all of those go away. And now we go back here to follow our little sequence. Reform cubes to the freedom and reform. Oh, wait, +1 if winning. No, +1 if winning is not for the die roll, is it? It's +1 reform cube if winning. So we are getting 4 reform cubes, which according to the designer means this happens. And we get 4 unrest to place. And those can go in Russia or within one of the Ukraine. And I'm going to take some time to think about these. In a coup in Turkey. Whee! This is why you don't want reformers, right? It felt like the thing to do. I can't help it. If there's no influence, remove any government counter unless it's an occupied country and set the country. Okay, there is an influence. So I roll 2 dice. So this is weird. If there's no influence, I still don't know how to parse this. If there's no influence present, remove any government counter unless it is an occupied country. Okay, so then I don't remove the government counter, but I do set it to 1 unrest and roll a die if there's no influence present, I guess. I don't know. Otherwise, roll 2 dice, and we get a 4, which is the strong man. Remove an opposing influence, or if not present, place a friendly. There goes a progress. If the highest nope. Replace the current government with the coup winners. Replace the current government with an authoritarian unless it is an occupied country. No more it isn't. No. This means Russia can invade countries still, but it can't occupy them after doing so. That might be interesting. Of course, they'll be in unrest, so that's weird. If it is occupied, the government is not altered. Set the government to 1 unrest, including occupied if present. So we get rid of 2 of these. And that's where we are for that. Now back to the end of turn. We just did a reform. Yeah, we let it happen, I guess. We had nothing to exhaust. I'm not good at that. Remove an embargo. Should be able to remove more. The Soviet government's like clearly in a state of near collapse here. Oh, although popularity at home is fine. What's that? Prevents worker shortage. Yeah, they're fairly liberal communist nation. We keep going. We keep looking. U.S. gets to roll for president. A 2 and a 3. That's 2 economic gains. Now again, according to the designer, those have to be taken. So I'm going to put cubes on them just to remind me that I can't just take them. Again, I don't really know what these black cubes are for the most part. I mean, there's a couple places where you use them, but otherwise I've been kind of making them up. I'll reset this, because why not? Okay. Add 1 money to the U.S. debt track. That gets the U.S. a flag for a little while. We gotta get rid of it. We gotta get some debt cards in there. Flip all spies to unused. Okay, we gotta do some stuff here. The Russians do not. No, they do have SLBM technology. That's the important thing. So they're not going to get hit with costs for not having the nuclear submarine. I keep thinking you got to actually have the subs. You don't. Side, check intelligence assessment. Okay, the Pueblo incident goes away. If I read it right. It says remove. What does it say? For this turn. So I got my extra intel, which gives me 3 rerolls. The US has 1. That's all the advantage rerolls there are in the game. I don't know what happens if another one's going, but it did drop the Soviets back down. So we're tied at 1 or whatever now. And I don't know, if there's ways that chart can get skewed, but the important thing is the differential between them, so if you shift things like with the victory point markers, I think it's fine. We lose the U.S. victory because we don't want to have our debt all the way where it is unless it's going to win us the game. So we threw in a bunch of debt money to push ourselves back up. The Russians threw their oil production in. Turn 6 is showing up here. And what we missed something I was supposed to tell you about. Oh yeah, the mainframe computer. Where did the gains go? The Russians took their Soviet agriculture, which clears out their 5-year plan before the turn starts. I think that's fine. And they got their gain on the chart, on the progress chart for that. The U.S. started throwing into stealth technology. The U.S. also threw an SLBM in. Can I destroy an ICBM with that? I don't know, probably. Do I want to? I don't know, maybe. I'm not sure how much difference it means. Yeah, I can destroy an ICBM. If I'm going to do that, why don't I just throw an ICBM in instead then? And I attracted that with the 2-point gain. So there's no missile gap anymore. And the advantage is on the US's side, which I think is maybe this. I don't know. I don't know. And we got the decks to shuffle, and otherwise this one's going up. The deck sure is getting bigger. What I did forget, though, is that the straits converted. Gotta remember all these little things. That means the naval balance went away completely.